Y'all, so Amnesty International is out with a brand new report about what they are calling torture in two South Florida detention facilities, and you need to hear this. So this report is about 60 pages long. I just finished reading it so that you don't have to, and I feel like I'm going to be sick. So Amnesty sent a team to inspect these facilities in September, and they went to two. They went to Chrome, which is the Chrome North Service Processing Center, and also the Everglades Detention Center, which many people refer to as Alligator Alcatraz. And what they found is just beyond disturbing and horrific. I'm not going to be able to tell you everything in the report, but I want to give you enough information that you can share this with others. And first, a little context, because you may think, like I did, that Alligator Alcatraz had been shut down, because we heard that a court did shut it down because environmental reviews had not been done. But apparently, after that happened, another appeals court said, no, you can stay open while the appeal is being considered. So they are open. As Ron DeSantis puts it, they are, quote, open for business. So something I learned from this report is that Alligator Alcatraz is the first state-owned immigration detention facility in the United States. That is a very important fact to understand. Because it is run by the state and not the federal government, there's no federal oversight. People there aren't even tracked in ICE databases, and that's why we keep hearing about people who cannot find their family members who they think may be there. And Amnesty International is underscoring that this is not normal. In fact, they are calling it enforced disappearance. And very likely because there's so little oversight, the conditions there are beyond brutal. People are sleeping where fecal matter and sewage are flowing into their sleeping area from toilets that are in the middle of their cages. The lights are on 24/7. The AC is blasting so hard that people are freezing. There are mosquitoes everywhere, and inmates get to shower once a week, if that. There's, again, no privacy at all. The food is almost inedible, and the water is almost undrinkable. People are routinely being denied medical help and the medication they need to survive. Whenever people leave their cages, and yes, they are called cages, they are in shackles, always. Even if they are in severe medical distress, always shackled. But here's what Amnesty International is specifically calling torture. There is something there called the box. It is a 2-foot by 2-foot cage that they lock people in with their feet shackled to the ground and put them outside in the sun for hours and hours with virtually no water. I want you to stop and imagine what 2-foot by 2-foot looks like. I want you to imagine being chained inside of a cage that is that size. That is torture that we are committing. And I'll tell you, Florida taxpayers should be pissed off. This Alligator Alcatraz has already cost $360 million, and guess how much it's going to cost every year to continue to operate? $480 million. Guess where that money is coming from? Florida disaster relief funds. So they are cutting actual emergency funding for Floridians to fund this. The report then goes on to talk about Chrome, which is an ICE facility that has been outside of Miami for decades. 4 people have died there already just this year. There is severe overcrowding. People are being held in prolonged solitary confinement, and they are being denied access to their lawyers. And on that note, Governor DeSantis keeps saying that everybody in these 2 facilities has final deportation orders already. That is absolutely false, according to this report. Lawyers have confirmed that there are people with pending asylum claims, there are people with valid immigration status, wrongly detained U.S. citizens. So Amnesty's conclusion in this report is that the conditions at both facilities amount to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment under international law, and the use of the box and prolonged solitary confinement meet the legal definition of torture. We're not talking about 1930s Germany. We're not talking about Afghanistan under the Taliban. We're talking about the United States right now while we speak. And make no mistake, we can lay this at Ron DeSantis' feet, but ultimately the buck stops with Donald Trump, who not only approves of this, but celebrates it, sadistically loves to torture people with brown skin. So seriously, y'all, if you're wondering what you would have done in 1930s Germany, you're doing it right now. And it's not too late to change if you don't feel like you're doing enough. So go to the link in my bio or to the first comment under this video to find the link to the report, read it, share it. It's uncomfortable and miserable, but we don't get to look away just because it's not happening to us. I know this is overwhelming. I know it's painful, but the only thing to do is keep working and fighting together until we stop this and until the people who are committing these atrocities, and that's what they are stripped of power and held responsible for their actions. So let's do that.